us, the fantasies. No one can judge us, no one can judge us. This is for us. Open up your brown book, baby. It's for you.
Hey y'all, hey, it's your girl Shay, baby, from the Brown Book series. And I know y'all probably like, hold on, what is Shay doing on my phone, on my monitor, on my everything at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? Listen, y'all, because Raw is coming up. You guys know it's all about Raw. It's all romance readers and writers. That's what we're doing. And I've been telling y'all that I'm going to have some heavy hitters there. Not only am I bringing the legendary BJs and the Rochelle Aylers and the Shirley Hellstocks and the Celeste Norfleets and the Irises and all them. I'm bringing all them. I'm also bringing Harlequin, and they're going to be, taking your pitch sessions. And then, honey, I was on the phone one day. I'm telling all my business. Hold on, Beth. I was on the phone one day talking to the Iris Bowling, right? And I said, Iris, we need somebody to do a movie. She was like, girl, who we go get? And I was like, let me tell y'all something about this old Beth Stevenson, honey, over there at BrainPower Studios and with the Love app. And I was like, I'm going to bring Beth on here because you're also going to be at Raw, and I want them to know all things about BrainPower Studios and Love. Love is, don't get me started. So, ladies and gentlemen, please share, tag your favorite author who you want to possibly see her book on the big screen. Tag them. Let them know that the Beth Stevenson from BrainPower Studios and Love, and it's LUV, I love that, is right here on the Brown Book series, and she is about to talk to us. Woo! Okay. Beth!
Hey, Shay, how are you?
Good, how are you, darling?
Great. Well, I'm actually just running from set today. We're finishing off a beautiful rom-com that we did called All Aboard for Love. Oh. So we've been actually out in marinas, and my life is the crazy life. I go from one thing to the next. We're based near Toronto in Canada, and we make about 12 movies a year, romance movies. A lot of them are those Christmas movies. We have some beautiful snow in the wintertime. But we have our own facilities, our own cameras. We have lots of people full-time on staff. Like, it's just like this beautiful little mini studio that you just sit there and wake up every day. What are we going to make today? So we've worked with a lot of authors in the past that have been really, really amazing. One of the things years ago when we started to go to Romance Writers of America and so to conferences, we realized, number one, there was none of our competitors, no other movie producers were actually going and connecting at that level with authors. And we just thought, what a missed opportunity. Because for one thing, I think we really emotionally connected with authors and storytellers and writers on the romance side that are not necessarily on the, in the movie space, just because we all kind of go through the same things. Like, we all kind of, we're struggling to get our stories out there. We all, we don't have publishers, but we have broadcasters, we have streamers, and let me tell you, that's sometimes a wonderful challenge to get to know what they need and what they want. And it's a pretty expensive little business. The movies that we make are somewhere between $1 million and $2 million every time. So that's what I say. Like, every time I'm like, it's building a house, building a house every time we make a movie. So it's something that has to be really collaborative. And when we started to connect at the conferences, that we really saw that the authors, that we had a lot in common, and then what a great thing that those conferences were bringing people together. So I think, we're super excited to be attending, just as even the, just even as filmmakers, we're really excited to attend, but we're also attending because we have launched this kind of community focused social media app, which is called Love, LUV, and it's in, both on Google Store and the Apple Store. And it's really it's just a social media tool, and it's a sharing tool, and it's a place where we can go to find ideas, where some of our colleagues and fellow producers can come. We have actors that are now on the platform that they're engaging, because they're like, they said to us, Beth, like, if I'm on Instagram, like it's just everyone. Like, what do I post? You know, do I post myself eating pizza, or like what's my latest fun sock that I'm wearing? And like what's really great, I think, about Love is you can just, it's very focused on romance and focused on what all of us do every day. We're either watching it, we're living it, we're making it. Like, it's just this whole place to kind of come and connect. So anyways, so we launched that a little bit earlier this year, but I think, you know, between the authors and everybody that's on it, it's just been I love it.
I love it too. Hold on, let me just jump in for real quick before we get into BrainPower and Love. I'll go back up a little bit. Tell us a little bit about you, because sometimes, let me just tell you, from me, sometimes if I know the author, I don't care what they write, I'll just read it. I don't like whatever she wrote it, so I'm writing. You know, I'm reading. So, like, how did you start in this whole production game, and what made you decide, like, you know what, I'm gonna branch off and I'm gonna get my own stuff?
Well, I think, you know, I mean, I've grown up in the film and television world. I worked on a lot of like really big primetime series that were made here in Canada. I worked on a show called Kids in the Hall, which was like a big comedy show that was done here. And I worked on, you know, I actually, in many decades ago, worked on these Harlequin movies that were being made in Canada. And I realized that, you know, anyway, so it's challenging, like, to take a book and to do that translation. Like, they said, oh, we're going to do 16 movies a year. And I think they did like 8 over 8 years. Like, it's not an easy thing to do. And meanwhile, like, my career, you guys can look me up on IMDb. Like, I made tons of series, did a lot of live action, did a lot of animation, did kids and family stuff. And then when I was growing this company, so I helped to kind of grow another company and we sold it. And then when I was growing BrainPower, we were on set making a movie for someone, and this guy came and he said, oh, well, I gave up doing a Harlequin cover today because I wanted to be on set. And I was like, oh yeah, Harlequin. So anyways, so it's really that rom-com world. And we have built this kind of, as I said, this infrastructure that we can kind of turn the lights on every day and do stuff. And I mean, why I'm even in this crazy business is because of my mom. When, you know, when we were young, she was like a homemaker and she had 4 kids, and she went and took a television course at the local community college. And one day in the kitchen under her breath, she was just like, if I didn't have those 4 kids, I would be in television. And I was like, for some reason that like stuck right in my head. And when I went to that guidance counselor coming out of high school and going into college, I was like, I'm going to go here and I'm going to take radio, television arts, and I'm going to be a TV producer. And I had no idea what that meant, but here it is years later. And unfortunately, my mom, you know, passed away when I was young, and she didn't really get to see this world. But I kind of feel every day that she's here with me while we do the crazy things that we do, you know. Every day making these movies, for sure.
I absolutely love it. Now, you've worked on set, you've done a lot. So you got BrainPower Studios. Why romance? Like, why are you like, you know, I just want to do romance movies. I want to just romance out. I want romance in my life. Why romance?
Well, I mean, I think like the word BrainPower Studio is really interesting, because I always say to people, like, I'm always functioning with both sides of our brain. Like, obviously you know, I'm really drawn to kind of feel good programming, things that are really inspirational. But there's a business side of me that, you know, you look at, I mean, anyone who's in the romance book business knows. I mean, 25% of all books being sold are romance books. Like that, it's far better than any other genre. So, I mean, some of it it made sense because it's who we are and what we want to make. And some of it, you know, I mean, there's like little crazy things. Somebody asked me yesterday, Beth, why don't you guys make horror movies? And I said, well, I don't want people up overnight every night, because you have to make horror movies in the dark. Like, we making 12 of those a year. No, you just have a bunch of vampires working for you. So, I mean, there's some really kind of fun, intricate things as to why we make what we make. But I think there's true love there. I mean, there's just love in terms of really the storytelling, and then, you know, what we call that sort of triple cry in our world. And when an audience is emotionally invested in a couple that is coming together, those HEAs, like everything that authors get in terms of that real nurturing benefit from fans and readers. We get the same benefit, and we're in their lives forever, right? You know, if somebody's watched one of our films and followed one of our love stories, they're in our lives and we're in their lives. Like there's this whole kind of, you know, ethereal kind of benefit that we get from doing what we do. But it's also a business. And, you know, when we were all asked to shut our studios down and go home and make bread and put masks on and wash our groceries and all that kind of stuff, you know what? I just went, people need Christmas movies. And we were able to we were one of the first film companies in Canada to pick up our equipment, turn our lights back on, clean our door handles, and just start filming again. And it's, you know, again, because people need that. They need that nurture. So as I said, there's a little bit of reasons because of commerce and good business sense. And then there's just this whole other, you know, hearts floating out there that we get for being in the romance genre, for sure.
I totally love that. Midnight Ace Book Bar. Midnight Ace is one of my girls. She's wonderful. She pairs books with wine and alcohol. We'll love her. So if she wanted to know what's the concept behind the name BrainPower.
So that really comes from my dad's side. He was an educator and he grew up really rough he had a lot of brothers and they grew up rough, and they really helped each other get out of it. Like one would be working and put the other one through school, and the other one would work, and then he really told me years ago that you can use your brains to change your circumstances. And, you know, I'd just come from a really big company that we helped to grow from the ground up. And, you know, I was really enjoying the process, but I just, you know, had young children and everything. And I said, you know, I think I want to use my brain to change my circumstances. So that's why the company's called BrainPower. And every day we use it.
Got the brain and use. I absolutely love that. Celeste, yes, she loves Christmas movies. Gotta go find them. I like Christmas movies all the way around. I don't care. When they come up with like Christmas in July, and I'm like, listen, you can have Christmas in January, February, March, April. I love Christmas movies.
So now imagine if you make those Christmas movies, and imagine if you film in your house sometimes. So like we have like a Christmas tree up sometimes in April, June, and like I'll put the lights on and my husband would be like, don't you dare. Don't you dare enjoy it. I'm like, dude, there's a reason why we're doing Christmas movies, you know, because we have all that weird thing that like clearly we have to have all of our Christmas movies done by the end of October. So, you know, you are always making them in the middle of summer. You know, sometimes you make them a year ahead so you can get some really good snow from where we are. But yeah, it's Christmas movies all day.
All year round. I love it. Now, the Love app. Let me tell you, I have so much fun in this Love app. Because I feel like I'm in here with like-minded people. It's a community of romance readers and writers, actors, actresses, and like we're all on one accord, speaking the same language. Exactly. So when did you say you started the top of 2020 or?
Well, no, we actually right in the middle of COVID for some reason we're out of our minds. I think maybe it was lack of being able to go to conferences and things like that. But you know, our team, I don't know how we had the bandwidth, but sort of starting about this time last year, we were really in earnest, like trying to figure out, you know, what's the content, what do we want to put on there, what's the, you know, what could we use in terms of the tech that was available to us. And so the team was really unbelievable, especially Carrie Ricks, who's going to be at Run. And, you know, she was amazing for really seeing everything on the marketing side of things come together. Polly Beal, who works with us as well, and her partner, Gabby, you know, and they are the part of the Love team who give us all that fun, like, which kiss would you like to see? Blah, blah, like all that kind of really fun content. So yeah, I know sometimes I really can't say that I have a lot of sane moments sometimes, but it's like I look back, because I'm pretty sure we're going to look back and go, yeah, right in the middle of all this insanity, because we were also working on this amazing franchise for Lifetime that like Tony Braxton was in, and like Tony Braxton was up in our world for 8 weeks, and we're filming and running all over the place. And at the same
time, the Murders Club, right, or something like that.
Yeah, it was based on the Fallen Angels book club, and it became the Fallen Angels Murder Club. But we're literally in the middle of like filming that every day, and yeah, like why not? But that shows how important this platform really was for us, because again, it was really, it's just meant to be a bringing together of everyone, because yes, you could go off and go to a book conference, and certainly go to our film and television conferences, but I've had a couple of friends who are producers and make beautiful rom-coms and high-end Netflix movies and all that, and they're like, Beth, how do you guys find books? And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, and then of course for them to sort of stop and really understand how you negotiate the rights. And so it's all things that are very personal to me and the team, is that it was a place to educate. It was a place for everybody to come together. And, and of course, the fact that it has a bit of a cheeky point of view and lots of sense of humor. And I mean, I just love seeing the posts every day and the hump day and what are people doing? And, and it's really meant to support too, because I think we can all see that social media has become a place where, you can be torn down quite a bit, or there's a lot of judgment there. And what's really nice is where we're sitting right now with all of the membership and everybody who's interacting. It's there to support. Hey, I have a story that I have a problem with. Can someone help me? Hey, I have had a good day. Let's all celebrate together. Hey, I've had a crappy day. Well, don't worry about it, because next time, it's going to turn around, and you have support. Like everyone on Love, it feels like you have so many people that have your back on that app, which is what I think is really amazing, because it is hard every day. And, it's not easy. Like our little world, I'm sure, like all the world and all the business ventures that you have, like, and all your on air, time, it's not easy. And it's good to know that out there. I always know at the end of the day, I can go on Love and be like, oh, look at what somebody got their book. My sister who runs 5 libraries, like she's on it too. And she's like, just sharing that Nora Roberts like decided to support this LGBTQ plus initiative for 50,000 because it was being torn down. Like, it's just every day the news feed for me, and the sharing and coming together. And it's really funny, even as a weird business tool, like we have so many of our screenwriters on there. They're DMing me now on Love to be like, hey, Beth, let's as opposed to like my normal BrainPower email. Cause I think it's just, again, it's very intuitive, really fluid. It seems to be working. So yeah, so that's the sort of long and short of it. Is we wanted to make this tool that really brought the community together in terms of the romance community. And we knew that it was out there and in different factions, but people were either trying to like, well, control the conversation or put it over here, or it's just one spot. We're just, no, anybody can come. Competitors, supporters, everyone can come and have a chat on Love.
I absolutely love that. Iris Boland is in the chat. Hey, Iris, USA Today's best-selling award-winning author. She used to post a picture of the app. We're going to do that. We're going to post a picture of the app. Midnight, if you're out there, Midnight Ace is out there, post a picture of the app for Love, because we need everyone to join this community. Because let me tell you, I have so much fun over there. And I met so many friends. I'm just talking to people, and I absolutely love it. Now, Beth, you're not going to be able to make it because, of course, you're going to be with us next year, but you're overseas doing your thing.
Yes.
But we're going to have pitch sessions at Raw. Miss Nancy's going to hook us up. Pitch sessions at Raw. And everybody, before we start talking about the pitch sessions, if you have any questions for Miss Beth Stevenson, please let us know. She is the executive producer, the CEO, the HBIC over at BrainPower Studios and the Love app. You have any questions, she's here. Put it in the chat. Again, you tag your author friends, because listen, this is the opportunity that it's an opportunity. It's crazy. I love it. Yeah. Now, And when Nancy gets to Raw, she gonna have to talk to Iris. Iris Boland's got some books. Beth, you go listen. You gonna spend about a good $5 million to do them because it's just off the chain.
Absolutely. And I think that that's a really good point. And this is what, Nancy and I always get asked, like, what are you looking for? And it's kind of more the reverse is we're looking for everything. We're looking for beautiful stories. It's what Nancy will really do is she'll share with people. I mean, don't get discouraged because sometimes, like all of our worlds, there's similarities between storytelling and people feel like, oh, well, I've seen that or I've had that. And we really have we work with like Netflix and Lifetime and Hallmark and, like we have, obviously if they have something that's similar or whatever, but yeah, it's, we're open all of the time, to kind of hear great stories. And what Nancy is she's her and I have been working together for 20 years now, over 20 years on just, making scripts happen, moving things forward, working with writers, finding beautiful stories out there. And so she has a really great eye, but she also is very knowledgeable to sort of give people an idea to say sort of, well, what would work better over here and that. So, we're really, really excited. And I know Nancy's really excited. And we've worked with a lot of diverse authors. I think actually that Fallen Angels book club is the perfect example. We found that series. It's from a African-American writer, Ray James, who's based in San Francisco. And I was like, again, it's just like she had everything. She had like the law world. It was like, a book club with ex-felons. And then she had, the police world. It was a police procedural all together. So, and then of course, then we brought on an amazing film and writer and director, Rhonda Baraka out of Atlanta. And she just elevated the whole thing to another level.
Police officer was fine. I was like, where did they find this man at? He was all kind of good looking. Girl. I love him.
He actually came out for one of our movies years ago. And this is, obviously we've been trying to share what life looks like from day one on our movies and television. And he came out and we were just like, our head of casting, Rebecca, and I were just like, what the awesome. Like, anyways, and he's the agent now is Chadwick Boseman's agent. Like, I don't know if we can get him to come out anymore. Like, this guy's going to be a big star. So,
girl, he's all kind of fine. I was like, I'm going to call over there up to Canada to see what Beth finds this fine man in, honey, because I need to be a part of your casting call next time. I need to be in there with you.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's how I got my husband on Match.com. I was like, oh, this is like casting. I can do this all day long.
You met him on Match.com?
Yes, yeah. Now he builds all their sets and everything, and yeah, he was a builder, a contractor. I met on Match.com, and he had a good business like your brothers and stuff like that. And I looked at him one day and I said, "You ever build a green screen?" And he goes, "I could do that." And that was the rest is history. So now he's like
green screen ever since. I absolutely love it. Tiffany Jones from Tiff's Happy Place. What's up, Tiff? She says, how do you choose your potential film?
So I think, we balance our slate every year. We're always looking for some ones that have a little bit more comedies, romances that have a little bit more heartfelt in it. So it's what it is a lot with romance. And I think it's probably, and we've heard this from other authors, is when you sit down, it's a little bit about the world, but like, what is the two? Like one time it was like, I'm like, it's the artist and the architect. Okay, that is a couple that we can see coming together. So it does really start with that couple a lot. And we sort of say like, but then what are the little twists that like, what is each author bringing to, to their books and to these couples, and how is that story unfolding? I think we all understand some significant tropes in our genre that we see and need to be celebrated. But again, there's different authors that just take things to a different level. Like we're looking at at a book right now from an amazing author, and she just put, it's about the flower girl and the page boy from a wedding, and now they're grown up, and now they're getting to that. But it's just like, again, we've seen 100 wedding things, but that's just a beautiful thought to say, like, oh, they have a connection from the past. And I mean, that's really it is. That's what the potential in stories is, to really look at that couple and to see, can it sustain a 90-minute film? And, is there a beginning, a middle, and an end that's just going to pull us all through the same way that when an author is writing their books, and however, whatever format they're writing in, it's just really engaging that reader and that viewer for that time and bringing them on a beautiful journey. So I don't, again, it's not anything specific. It's just very much to say, like, if we can believe in that love in the book, we'll believe it on the screen. So
I love, it's like heartstrings. Whatever book just pull at your heartstrings, like, oh my God, if you want to see it on the screen. I absolutely love it. So Iris wants to know, do your team do series?
We do, and we actually did in a wonderful series called the Wedding Planners, which was a fictional series about a family of wedding planners that we launched. We finished the last day of filming on like March 15th of 2020, before the whole shutdown, and we were very thankful that we were able to then finish all the post-production and everything we needed to do. It's actually airing on Up TV now, or it's in their digital service. It's on Roku as well. We love doing series. We've taken a bit of a pause from it just because you don't want to be in the middle of a COVID lockdown if you're in the middle of a series. But our movies, you'll be surprised to know that our filming for our movies is about 15 days long. So when you're doing a series, it's about 5 months, but when you're doing a movie, it's about 15 days. So I'm like, crap can go down in 15 days, but at least it's sort of contained. Whereas a series, like, if stuff goes on in the world. So we do have 2 series that's coming up. Both of them are, well, one of them is based on a book series that we've talked about. Jennifer Ashley did a series about a cook in a Victorian kitchen. It's called Below Stairs. So we have that as 8 1-hours that we're currently writing. So we do absolutely do series. But for us, we actually kind of prefer the movie world, and we'll franchise. Like, if something's really, really great, then we'll end up being like another one, or like a franchise like Fallen Angels, Murder Club, or it'll become a trilogy or whatever. So we love the movie franchise. There's just, movies can travel, and people are always looking for them. And yes, we can all watch tons and tons of series on our streamers and all of that kind of stuff. But there's just, people are always looking for movies, and I think, and they're also kind of hard to make. So it makes us be a little special in our film and television world, because not a lot of people that can do what we do, right? Like, just get up every day and make a movie every month.
Yeah, you out there getting it. I absolutely love it. Midnight A says, how can readers submit suggestions?
So on our Love app, when you go on, you can go into the news feed, and here, I can bring it up. There's actually a place to show for pitches that's actually on our Love app. So this is what the app looks like. Whoops, sorry, when you get in. And then if you go what's new today, you can see at the top, you can see there's actually a thing that's actually for pitches. And when you go on, like, anybody who's a member of Love can submit pitches, and now not just us, but every producer can take a look at, what they're pitching. So lots of authors put their books in there, but you can put original ideas as well.
That is totally awesome. Now, when Nancy comes to Raw, I'm so super excited. So when she comes, is there a particular way on how to pitch when the authors go in to pitch their movies? Is there a particular way that you guys want them to pitch the movies? They just come in and be like, look, Nancy girl, this is what I got. Or like,
that works. Absolutely. I think what's really, I mean, I've been pitching my whole life, and I practice, right? Like, that's the thing too. Sometimes, whatever, speak to your cat, speak to your husband, speak to your partner, like, one of the things that's really important is you can, what I call crystallize. You want to be able, I mean, I know everybody's seen this about film and television for the longest time, like try and get it down to a couple of sentences. You know, what is the book actually about? Just what I did with Below Stairs. I said, it's a cook in a Victorian kitchen that she solves crimes. Right. And then if I go on, I say, oh, it's like down or upstairs, downstairs or whatever. But just to give that one kind of crystallized sentence, you know, just honestly, that's like the back of the book cover. Like you want to be able to have that. And, you know, and that's just helpful. But I mean, pitching is a challenge, and it doesn't come naturally to everyone, and including myself. And like my favorite thing, so we're going to this big conference that we have to go to internationally in France next week. And what I do, and this is my favorite thing, is I bring in the accountants. I bring in the accountants, the operational people who really in our world, in our company aren't on the ground floor on the creative. And I pitch to them, and I'll tell you, they are tough. They're like, I don't know if I'd buy that. Like, anyways, it's just because it's kind of like a wedding rehearsal. You just kind of get all the kinks out and all of that kind of stuff. Because, I mean, yeah, absolutely, Nancy, we change lives. Like, we phone people up all the time and say, guys, we've found your book and we're optioning it and we're turning it into a movie. And generally the reaction we get is, it is a bit of a lottery ticket, right? Like, I mean, everybody knows in terms of the amount of concepts that are out there, the amount of novels that are out there. So it is kind of not often that people have that direct contact with somebody who is a decision maker in our industry, or at least can give you some real pointers how to get to another level, or talk directly to a broadcaster, get yourself a literary agent that deals more with film and television. Like, all of those questions are really, really good. But, you know, Nancy, we've been doing this for a very long time. And just like everything on Love, we're here to support. We're here to rise up everyone. There's not going to be any real negativity or like a really bad audition where people are like, pass, we'll have some kind of good feedback to say with everything that's presented. So
I absolutely love that. I'm so excited you guys are going to be there. Like, it is awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, you have to go and download this app. Stop what y'all doing right now. Download the Love app. Everything is over there. We have fun over there. It's actresses. It's everybody. That fine man that I was just talking about, he over there too. That man look. I was like, it's so crazy because I was watching this because I love the little romantic murder mysteries kind of suspense thing. So I'm looking at him like, and it's Tony Braxton. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And then of course you did it. So anything Beth does, I'm tuned in. And girl, that man came on that screen. I said, oh sweet Jesus. I was like, I hope this ain't a twist and he ain't the killer, because I'm gonna be mad. It's fine. I wouldn't even be mad. I was like, I would not even call the police on him if he is the killer. I don't even care. He's fine. So how do you do your casting though? Do you have your own casting director?
We do. So we have a wonderful producer. She's on the app. At Rebecca is on the app. And she has worked with us for years. But she's this beautiful combination because she's a producer, so she really understands how film and television is made. But she actually also acts. And this week she was actually playing a beautiful character for us in one of our movies. So she comes from, again, a very sympathetic place, of knowing what it's like to kind of put yourself out there. And I mean, unfortunately, I would say in the casting world, people walk in and they're leads or they're not. And one of the things that we do is we love to nurture all the way along. So what we'll do is we'll find somebody and they'll pop in like a what we call secondary roles, or like they could be the best friend, or they could be, somebody that's working at the coffee shop. We had one girl that's actually, she just did 2 leads for us back to back. Catherine's on Love. She actually came to us and just played one of our princesses in our Prince trilogy, that was just attending this ball. And I mean, I think she had 2 lines. And Rebecca and I were just like, oh, who is that? So, and so what we do is we look at auditions, we follow things, we talk to the network. We have a really wonderful project that we're doing with BET Plus right now and BET. So we're looking at some of the other BET shows and saying, okay, well, who really popped over here? Can we bring them over to us? Like one of our very first rom-coms that we did, we were like looking at Gilmore Girls and we saw Yannick Truesdale and like, who played Michelle in the hotelier in Gilmore Girls. And we're like, he's Canadian, he's from Montreal. And so we just phoned him up and he was wonderful, wonderful person. And he came out and did some stuff with us. So it was, again, it's just really, it's about really understanding popular culture, who's out there, who's moving, who's popping. And Rebecca actually just came back from an amazing trip to Los Angeles where she sat down with like the head of Lifetime Casting. What are you guys looking for? Who's on your radar? She sat down with, management teams that manage, Jonas Brothers. And they like, just sort of, again, that dialogue and it's interesting because one of our best we did an event on Love where Rebecca got on and just talked about casting, and there was a lot of agents on there, a lot of first-time actors that came to just listen. And again, now there's a lot of agents on Love. So like if you're interested in performing, that's a great way to connect with people there too. So yeah, the casting, it's alchemy. And what's really important in the old days, and certainly pre-COVID, we do a thing where like you might want to see somebody in person and they bring people in and, the classic, like 3 people sitting behind a table and making people audition. And I've never really believed in that because our medium is on the screen. And sometimes you can kind of accidentally fall in love with people in the room, or you can, they're really funny. They crack a joke when they come in and you're like, oh, this guy's great, or this girl's amazing. But ultimately it's about the essence that comes through on the screen. It's like some people are photogenic, some people are not. But I will say that we tend to gravitate to people who have a true kindness. I mean, certainly we're in that genre where that's the helpful thing. We tend to nurture those people, and we call them the friends of BrainPower, and they tend to come back and they tend to play more roles for us. And so it's very, it's not an exact science, but it is kind of, like we appreciate everyone who auditions and puts their heart out there and takes the time and pays sometimes to get, professional makeup done for their read and all of that stuff. And we absolutely appreciate it. But I'm going to tell you, it's just, again, we're looking for, those people who are just popping and that their light's shining. And, I think we can all see from all of the film and television and that we all watch that sometimes it's just there's a light on some. I was just reading somebody who directed Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman, and he said, I don't care what anybody said, like she was gawky, she had the curly hair all over the place. He said, but when she smiled, $1 million smile.
Yes, I absolutely love. You're so right about it. Okay, we have another question here for you. Iris says, Beth, do you accept scripts written by authors, or do your team write the scripts?
No, we're absolutely open to accepting scripts from authors. We've actually been, this is again another thing that we really wanted to concentrate on Love, which is there are some authors that we're working with that have now transposed to screenwriters. The thing I will say, it's quite difficult, right? Like it's a bit of a different discipline. And this is again when we started to talk to all of the romance writers, and one of the things that we really bonded over was everybody was like, oh, everybody says it's so easy. My kids could write a romance novel. I say it's the same thing. Everybody thinks it's quite easy to write a script, but you already have a lot of wherewithal if you've sat down and if you've worked out the stories and everything that you need to be a full novel. So there's lots of skills that can absolutely transpose. There's no question about it, but there are some very specific things with regards to screenwriting. So, again, we're very open to reading scripts, but we like people to at least like understand, there is a, there's Final Draft is the software tool that everybody uses, you know. Mm-hmm. So I mean, again, it's just it's really to understand a little bit about it, but I mean, honestly, we'll read anything that people give us for sure.
I absolutely love that. This is so cool, Beth. I'm so happy you came on with me.
No problem. Awesome. Well, we're very happy to be there. And again, I'm sorry I can't be there in person because we're tag teaming, but you're going to have some of our great team on there. And Mulla's like been 30 years at Harlequin, and so she has a lot of relationships with authors already, and Carrie there and Nancy really there to guide. So we're super happy to support, and we think it's a very, very important thing, you know, for all voices to be heard and for everybody to get out there and mingle.
This is awesome. This was great information. Ladies and gentlemen, before we close out our interview, because, you know, Beth got to go make some movies, honey, so we can't keep her all day. If anybody have any questions, any authors on the line, look, Iris is like, honey, I'm asking my questions. I need to know. Any authors on the line got any questions for Beth Stevenson? She's the executive producer, the CEO of BrainPower Studios, and the Love app. So Midnight had put the Love app out there, so you guys go there, and we're gonna post it too. Yes, when I post it to on our social media pages, to go to the Love app, download it, and join. I'm telling you, this is the kind of community that we want. It's like a book chat every night, every day. It's a continuous book chat. It's absolutely it's wonderful. Now, Beth, like you said, you guys are gonna be at Raw, and this is awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, please come there. Nancy is gonna be taking your pitch sessions. And, you know, y'all come out here with your good books. Tell Nancy what y'all tell her everything. Tell her y'all talk to Beth now. Beth told her that told y'all that
absolutely
what y'all was looking for. We absolutely love that. So, Beth, before we go, here at the Brown Book Series, we always ask one last question of the interview because, you know, this is what we do. If you were writing a book about your life, what would the title be?
I don't know. There's a whole bunch of dirty things that just came into my mind.
Hey, I'm the right girl for it, and you know that. So, okay.
Well, it was, yeah. I think ultimately, I think that the title would be, you know, about rising all ships, you know, like a tide rises all ships, because that's really what I try to do every day within the company. What we're trying to do with Love, what we're trying to do with all of our movies is we're just a ship that's trying, you know, we're a tide that tries to rise all ships. So I think it will be somewhere along that line. Is just really that's I feel like a big theme in my life, from my family and my kids and the people I work with, is that, you know, I've always just found that I'm just a vessel that things come through, and ultimately I'm hoping to leave things a better world for sure.
Absolutely wonderful. That was perfect. But, you know, when we get off air, I'm going to ask you what that dirty question, you know, the first thing that came to your mind off air, because I just want to know. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, please, Brown Book Series, give a big round of applause for Beth Stevenson, the executive producer and CEO of BrainPower Studios and the Love app. And make sure, for you all who's coming to Raw, you know, make sure you go check out the table, the Love app. They'll be there. They'll be, you know, give you all the little, got the swag, they got everything there concerning the Love app. And for all my authors, pitch sessions. They're taking pitch sessions. They're open. They're she's making about 50 movies a year. So we're trying to get it going. You have any questions for Beth, just, you know, hit the Brown Book Series at brownbookseries.com, and we will forward them over to Beth. And, you know, she'll oblige us for a little bit. Don't be asking nothing crazy now. Don't ask nothing crazy. If they ask you something crazy, but we don't know them, okay? All right, you guys have a wonderful day. And later on, we're going to come back on either later on today or one day this week, because Iris Bolin is doing a workshop. She's a self-published author, and she's killing it in the game. So she's doing a workshop, and she's going to come on and talk about that at the Raw Experience. If you haven't gotten your ticket, please get your tickets now. Registration closes October the 15th. And we will see you guys at Raw. Beth Stevenson, thank you so much again for joining.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much.